Hello, my name is Elizabeth Birmingham, and I serve as a representative for Stanton Elementary. And that is the reason that I have been chosen to speak on both the board and the Glendora community this evening. On behalf of 90% of my site's permanent and non-administrative certificated faculty, I have been asked to present the concerns and questions specifically related to the leadership of both the new superintendent and the current school board. The following are the collective issues of concern, and the use of pronoun we is intended to indicate those I represent. We have come together as educators to voice our concerns. We want to make it clear that these concerns are not due to a reaction of stress brought upon us by adapting to delivering the quality education during the COVID pandemic. They are directly in the response to the environment being created by our current leadership. In the recent months, our community has been presented with a public relations campaign that presents Glendora Unified as a model district for distance/hybrid learning and a safety in the classroom. The community was given the impression that teachers were provided with quality training throughout the summer to navigate the new Canvas LMS. After an outcry from teachers, the district did provide some further training. However, elementary teachers were left to figure out how to make the platform meant for college-age students to work for our young children. Added to those apparent PR efforts are the many district communications through the GSU to Gazette, social media, and about timeless actions taken. We educators have felt unprofessional when we asked about district communication by outside entities that we ourselves have not witnessed nor been informed of. When presented with information via email or social media, teachers and staff are updated simultaneously with the community. For example, one concerned and health-compromised teacher first learned about foggers being used in the social media video posted by the district. Upon further inquiry, she was told that foggers would not be used. Finally, and most alarming, is the lack of morale, respect, and fairness in our district is intolerable right now. While we acknowledge that these are very unprecedented times with no roadmap to success, it is very telling when two highly respected and long-term district assistant superintendents have suddenly chosen to seek employment somewhere else in response to the way our superintendent has chosen to navigate. This is highly irregular, as this is a district worthy of alarm and research, not only because these personnel have the closest working relationship with our new superintendent, but also because they are and were the highest admins for two of the most crucial areas related to the distance learning, and these challenges related to the pandemic, technology and safety. These two assistant superintendents were deeply admired, appreciated, and trusted. It is well known across the district, employees both certificated and not, that there is a climate of fear and intimidation directly relating to the superintendent's management style. Many teachers have expressed their fear and concerns for our Glendora Teachers Union. GTA has brought those concerns to the board.
It was reported back to us by our GTA president that the board wanted a couple of weeks to make improvements. After concerns were voiced by a parent during the board meeting on October 26, fully aware of teachers' concerns, Mr. Ellenson then expressed his gratitude and full support for Dr. DeLeon, as well as thanking her for following all directions given by the board. He also stated that it was just a small percentage of community members who felt the way expressed by many at the board meetings. This was a catalyst for us to realize that we cannot remain silent. We are here to ask the board to stand behind their certificated staff as well as the community we serve. Our community staff, and most importantly our students, will continue to suffer under the regime unless severe disciplinary action of the superintendent is considered and implemented. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jill Beechler, and I have served as a devoted teacher in Glendora for over 20 years. I love this district, and the decision to present here tonight was not made lightly. I'm here as a representative of Sellers Elementary, and will be reading a letter that will be presented in two parts in order to respect the 3-minute time limit. I will be presenting the first part, and my colleague, Viviana Bitanti, will be presenting the second part. Dear members of the Glendora School Board, as elected officials of the Glendora community, we are appealing to your role of being responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of our school community, which includes students, families, teachers, and district personnel. Due to the wide range of opinions concerning our district, it was suggested that each school meet and draft its own list of concerns. While our original meetings were conducted separately, both classified and certificated staff found that our concerns were similar. As such, it was decided to create a whole staff letter. This letter was thoughtfully discussed and collaboratively written to allow all interested staff members to have a voice. While some members of our staff are also Glendoran parents, great care was taken to ensure that the concerns expressed here are reflective of staff only. The focus of this letter regards the leadership and conduct of Dr. DeLeon, where a lack of honesty, respect, and communication do not align with the values of the Glendora School District and community. Dr. DeLeon has presented information in board meetings and with staff that has been either misleading and lacks truth. For example, the reports from Dr. DeLeon of proper training of Canvas were inaccurate. The lack of technological preparedness causing weeks of delayed access to curriculum and online tools was concealed from families, leaving teachers to fend for themselves to fill the void. Dr. DeLeon's representation of the student statements from her Superintendent Student Advisory Council was misleading. I'm now going to pass to my colleague, Viviana Bitonti. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Viviana Bitonti, and I am a teacher here at Sellers. I have been teaching for 17 years, 8 of them here in Glendora. I have 3 children that attend Glendora schools, and I am here representing 90% of our Sellers staff. I will continue in our letter where my colleague Jill Beechler left off. And just a reminder that the focus of the letter regards the leadership and the conduct of Dr. DeLeon and how it does not align with the values of the Glendora School District and our community. The lack of respect paid to staff by our superintendent has led to low morale, mistrust, and insecurity about our jobs. For example, teacher reprimands and intimidation when a staff member expresses concerns and or differing opinions are causing fear of retaliation if the staff speaks up. The resignation of beloved, longtime, well-respected administrators and an employee within the last 3 months are a result of the discontent caused by the actions of Dr. DeLeon. Allegations of mistreatment of staff from her previous district, along with the pending lawsuit in Oxnard, show a pattern of behavior that elicit our mistrust of how we might be treated. Communication has been incomplete and inconsistent. Conflicting information is given to family, staff, and the community, which results in confusion and frustration. For example, responses and follow-through to participating staff in the committee work that was done in the summer were not provided, giving the impression that our committee work was just a show rather than a valued collaboration. The same thing occurred tonight when they spoke. Information about opening schools has been limited and varies depending on the audience she's addressing. Expectations for grades during the distance learning environment have never been clarified, causing inconsistent grading practices throughout the district. New attendance expectations have been given with very little explanation or support. Glendora Unified School District employees are known for our loyalty, hard work, and love for our students, families, and communities. Many of us bought into and were excited by the idea of bringing change to our district. This is evident by the numerous employees who volunteered their time this summer to work on committees and to shoulder the responsibility for the preparation of returning to school in the distance learning environment. When Dr. DeLeon came to Glendora, we welcomed her with open arms and open minds, just like we have done with previous superintendents who were new to our district. Instead of working with us, we feel that Dr. DeLeon has her own agenda without consideration of the needs and interests of our students, families, and or our staff. At this point, we have lost confidence in Dr. DeLeon's leadership and are hoping that you can help to repair this brokenness. Thank you for your time. Each of you will receive a copy of this letter.
My name is Lisa Emke. My husband, myself, and 3 children have all attended Glendora schools. When I was asked to read this letter, written by an amazing group of teachers, there was no way I could decline. Dear members of the board, what has been happening in our school district has become a concern to many of our Sandburg and Goddard staff, and we have been advised to come together to express our profound concerns to you. We are requesting that you, our representatives, listen and respond to these concerns. Late in the spring, we anticipated with excitement the arrival of our new superintendent and welcomed her with open arms. We were excited about the future of our district and the possibility of making it even more stellar than it already was. However, since taking her position, Dr. DeLeon's contributions to our district have resulted in some very detrimental consequences. Over the past few months, it has become evident that the superintendent is creating an unhealthy work environment at GUSD. The leadership and conduct of Dr. DeLeon is our most significant concern. Below is a list of our major concerns. Dr. DeLeon has presented information in board meetings with staff and that has been either misleading and or lacks truth. This creates dishonesty and lack of transparency. Communication has been insufficient, confusing, and scattered. Different information is given to families and staff, and the community, which causes confusion and frustration. For example, it was communicated that the teachers had rigorous and extensive training in Canvas all summer, which was false. Parents were given a false sense of confidence and security in our knowledge of the platform. We did, however, rise to the occasion, but not without consequence in our health and emotional well-being. The fact is, we were offered to independently train ourselves during our vacation time only a couple of weeks before school started. We only had 3 professional development days prior to school opening to prepare digital lessons, plan, and train. Only 1 day, 3 hours, was training specifically for Canvas. The decision to make such a significant change to our learning platform in a time of crisis is more than questionable. Specifically, some special education teachers learned about phase 1 return during the board meeting when it was announced by Dr. De Leon. There was no prior communication about a definite return date. Some teachers learned about the return from the bus company when they were called to set up the schedule for students to be picked up. It was communicated to parents at a board meeting by Dr. De Leon that assessments had begun with some of the students who had special needs. This information was false. Special education teachers were not even close to beginning assessments, and they are still waiting answers to concerns they had months ago. The remainder of the letter will be read by Colleen.
As presented at the last board meeting, Dr. De Leon is involved in a pending and very active lawsuit for some questionable behavior and decisions. We have no idea if you, the board, knew of her background or if this information was withheld during the recruitment process. This information was requested, but we still have not heard an answer. We are still waiting. These accusations and behaviors are significant, as this information only solidified a distinct pattern of behavior, which is becoming evident by the treatment of many of our own staff members. For examples, teachers and staff have been spoken up about concerns, asked clarifying questions, or offered alternate solutions have been singled out, indirectly warned, and threatened, both verbally and in writing. This has been done not only by Dr. De Leon, but by some board members sitting in front of us today. The intimidation is causing teachers to work in fear, and they have become afraid to advocate for their students and themselves. That is why myself, Colleen Johnston, and Lisa Emke are speaking on their behalf tonight. The morale among staff members have never been lower. The burnout is real, as the amount of work they are putting in is only resulting in negative treatment from our leadership. We have lost valuable district administrators and staff to other school districts in the span of 30 days due to the unhealthy work environment. We are sure that we will lose more amazing GUSD staff members if this continues. As employees of this district, we are committed to our students, families, and community. As elected officials by members of this community, it is your role and responsibility to uphold the values, beliefs, and priorities of our community. We need a superintendent and all school board members to be professional, respectful, honest, trustworthy, and create an environment that promotes positive growth. It is your duty and responsibility to establish an effective environment, to provide support, and to ensure accountability. We expect you to abide by the oath you took and provide the community the leadership you were elected for. Of the staff that responded to a survey, 100% of respondents at Goddard and 87% at Sandburg voiced their agreement with this letter. It's my pleasure to speak on their behalf tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm freezing. I am just here to present some facts. As we've embarked on this journey as parents, educators, members of the community, we care nothing but about our children and the children of the community. So here are some facts. Superintendent De Leon took over Oxnard Union High School District in May of 2016. Under her tenure, Oxnard Union English state test scores declined 10%. Under her tenure, the math state test scores declined overall 2%. Under her tenure, Adolfo Camarillo High School was placed on probation in May of 2019. Also under her tenure, Director of Special Education, Dr. Victoria Ruffin, hired August 29th, 2018, had complaints against her as early as September of 2018. She received a vote of no confidence letter signed by 125 staff members dated February 14th of 2020. She was subsequently placed on administrative leave February 28th of 2020 and replaced April 29th of 2020. These are the facts. That's all they are. Victoria Ruffin, who was the Director of Special Education in Oxnard Union High School District under De Leon's tenure. There are many statements that have been reiterated here tonight by staff and parents in regards to behavior from staff members. Again, these are the facts. Dr. Victoria Ruffin had a series of in-house complaints from those who worked with her. They led to inappropriate and at times illegal ends in terms of special education. She was accused of creating, well, first of all, the teachers wrote a letter and a vote of no confidence for Dr. Ruffin. And it said she had an inability to effectively and equitably lead in a professionally run special education department. The letter described an increasingly hostile work environment under Ruffin's leadership, alleging a tendency for her to yell and berate subordinates, the use of threats and intimidation, a lack of equity in staffing, and a tendency toward power and control issues that manifest as both micromanagement and mismanagement. The letter pleaded with the district leaders to review the needs of special education students, this is from the teachers, in Oxnard Union on their individualized education programs, IEPs, stating that many students are owed compensatory services. At her direction, students were not receiving legally mandated services, the letter said. Her lack of knowledge of special education laws relating to service minutes and IEPs had the potential to create lawsuits against the district and teaching staff. Again, these are the complaints, and it shows a pattern of behavior that has been reiterated here tonight. Thank you.
My name is Wendy Zia Jarvie. I'm reading a statement tonight on behalf of a concerned Glendora parent who did not feel comfortable coming forward. The statement reads as this: I would like to express my concerns to the board regarding the work environment that is evolving at Glendora Unified School District. Our school district has become one that is completely unrecognizable to me. Having discussions with people who are using words such as vicious, toxic, hostile, retaliatory, and harassing to describe our administration is absolutely unacceptable. Many years ago, a great man named Dean Karnowski inspired our athletes, our students, and our entire community to be the best. He was a strong, honorable leader who touched so many lives. His legacy will live throughout our community, and we will never forget everything that he has taught us. Several of the staff members at GUSD were part of that era, and I'm certain still utilize some of the life lessons he taught. He was a true example of the type of leadership at GUSD that we are accustomed to. It is very common for employees of GUSD to begin their career here and continue until their retirement. Our district is known to provide an uplifting, positive, supportive, warm, and welcoming environment to all of its employees. They stay due to the incredible leaders who provide encouragement and constant motivation. As a parent, my priority is to support my children to the fullest in all their academic endeavors. However, I also thoroughly support the entire staff at GUSD, and I demand that a positive work environment is provided to them. We as a community will not stand back and watch any more amazing employees leave due to a toxic and hostile work environment. Losing Mr. Jacobson and Mr. Sheldu was so heartbreaking to so many people. Mr. Jacobson touched so many lives during the many years he was here, and his pure dedication to the children was second to none. Mr. Sheldu was highly respected by his peers and was known for his strong work ethic and integrity. The fact that they felt forced to move on to another district is absolutely unacceptable. It is essential that we regain the strong, honorable, uplifting leadership we once had in our district. Penelope De Leon is not the person to lead our staff. They absolutely deserve a better qualified person who continues to inspire and motivate them. I am positive that Penelope De Leon is incapable of providing the sort of environment our staff deserves. In the words of Coach Karnowski, our community will be the best, and we will not stop fighting for our kids and our beloved staff. I have one more sentence. Our town may be small, but we are mighty. We have always shown that when we come together for a common cause, we make great things happen.
Hello, my name is Stacy Tarzia, and I am speaking tonight on behalf of our beloved teachers and incredible principals. I used to be a teacher myself up until the day I had my first child. Now I'm a mother of 3, all of them students at Cullen Elementary. Try handling Zoom for a 3rd grader, 1st grader, and kindergartner. Let's just say an experienced and credentialed teacher is out of her element with distant learning. It is no easy task. Now put yourself in a seasoned teacher's shoes, let's say 15, 20 plus years. Throw them a brand new virtual platform, Zoom, having to completely change their routine, lesson plans reinvented, and adopt a whole new way of teaching. To say our teachers and principals are overworked during this pandemic is an understatement. I have the opportunity to see and hear 3 different virtual classrooms each day, and am blown away by the amount of passion, high energy, virtual creativity, and love presented to my children each and every day despite of the circumstances. These teachers are showing up even under such crummy times, and our kids don't even know the hours of planning, the late night grading and emailing and prepping, and let's be honest, the tears that are shed behind the scene. But an experienced teacher like myself, listening from the sidelines, definitely does. There's no doubt that we want to be back in the classrooms, but the real concern lies with the expectations once we do. How can a teacher be asked to teach live in person to one half of the class while teaching virtually to the other half at home? Do you know that it takes each teacher at least 2 hours to get Canvas ready just for the next day? The amount of work that each teacher is doing is more than one person can handle. It is absolutely asinine. I have family members who are teachers here in the district, and I also have teachers who have become like family. I know the teachers here at Glendora Unified School District are some of the most highly qualified groups of teachers. They have a reputation like no other. They are the backbone of this district and are what make GUSD so unique. My husband and I chose this school district for our kids because of it. But more importantly, our teachers love what they do, and it's reflected in their teaching every day. As much as I am begging for my kids to get back in the classroom, it is becoming problematic, no doubt, learning from home. But that is beside the point. I cannot have my children back in the desired classrooms with their teachers being asked of such ridiculous requirements. Isn't our goal here in Glendora to provide a quality education to our kids, not just to make sure the board and superintendent look good because of the teachers trying to juggle it all while upholding our district's reputation? Our district will continue to go downhill, and sadly it has since July. If they start walking, there's going to be a very large group that follows, and we are already losing families weekly to neighboring private schools. You all need to start listening to what the teachers and principals are requesting. Our kids need their teachers.